HBAR is starting to make some serious noise in the crypto world again, and this time it's not just hype, it is backed by some very real institutional movement. Over the past few weeks, the spotlight has turned toward the newly launched Canary HBAR ETF, which has shocked everyone with how quickly it's growing. We're talking about an ETF that now holds over 172 million HBAR, that is worth roughly $34 million. And this happened within just a couple of days of its launch. That's more than 30x increase in inflows in record time, and it's gotten the community buzzing with both excitement and curiosity. The question is, what's fueling this momentum? I would say it is a mix of institutional confidence, speculation, and a growing belief that Hedera might finally be getting the mainstream recognition that it deserves. Now, in this video, we are going to talk about the impact of the Canary HBAR ETF on the future of HBAR, and we will also talk about some conspiracy theories that are being developed around this ETF. You're watching Crypto Blogspot. I have made more than 2,000 videos on cryptos and partnered with top-tier leading projects and exchanges over the past 6 years. For the first time, I have made my own channel where every opinion is my own without any filter from any sponsors or company. So I'll appreciate it if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel to support me in making more of these videos. Now let's get back to the topic. Across community discussions, people are pointing out how significant this ETF move is. It is one of the first ETFs of its kind directly linked to Hedera, which means regulated financial exposure to HBAR is now a reality. That alone signals a shift in how the market views the project. While the ETF itself is still relatively small compared to the HBAR's total supply, the scale of inflows in such a short time is incredible and is being seen as an early sign of institutional accumulation. Some believe this could be the spark that puts HBAR on the radar of bigger funds and custodians. But of course, as always, where there's excitement, there's also speculation. Many in the community have been debating where all this HBAR for the ETF actually came from. Some investors think that the tokens were purchased directly from the open market, which would be hugely bullish since it means direct buy pressure. Others, however, suggest that the HBAR Foundation may have provided the initial supply to the ETF, sending coins in advance to seed the fund and make it operational from day one. Now, this theory started circulating after large wallet movements were noticed around the time the ETF launched. There were transfers reportedly involving over 170 million HBAR heading into institutional custody wallets like Coinbase Custody and BitGo. That's the same type of setup ETFs typically use to store digital assets securely. So if that's true, it's not a negative thing. It actually shows that the ETF is being structured properly with institutional level storage and compliance in place. But still, some people feel that the foundation should have been more transparent about the process, while others argue that this is just how ETFs work. They're seeded with assets before public trading begins, not after. But either way, this entire situation has added an interesting layer of speculation and energy around Hedera. And honestly, it's hard to ignore what's happening. The fact that an ETF even exists for HBAR and that it's saying this level of early demand tells us something important. Institutions are starting to take Hedera seriously. This could be a major turning point for the project's image. Up until now, HBAR has often been overlooked in favor of bigger names like Ethereum or Solana. But Hedera's technology, especially its use of the hashgraph consensus, has always set it apart. The blockchain space is full of hype, but Hedera's focus has always been enterprise-grade adoption and efficiency with partnerships that speak for themselves, like Google, IBM, LG, Standard Bank, and many more. The growth of an ETF built around HBAR just adds another layer of legitimacy. It's like a bridge between crypto and traditional finance, giving investors who prefer regulated exposure a way to get into Hedera without actually holding the token themselves. And this can have a compounding effect. As more institutional investors get exposure through the ETF, liquidity increases, confidence grows, and the narrative around Hedera begins to shift. People are already calling it a slow burn project that's finally waking up. The current buzz also raises interesting questions about how the HBAR Foundation plans to navigate this next phase. If ETFs start growing across multiple regions, the foundation may have to manage token allocations, liquidity, and communication even more carefully. Transparency will become key to maintaining investors' trust. Still, it's worth appreciating how unique this situation is. We're watching a project that's been quietly building for years, now being recognized at the institutional level, and that's not something many altcoins can claim. The Canary ETF might just be the beginning, a test run before a larger, more mainstream HBAR ETFs launch in other markets. And if that happens, the kind of exposure it could bring would be massive. Just imagine what could happen if a major fund in the US or Europe launches a regulated HBAR ETF, or if Hedera becomes part of a diversified digital asset index. That would bring entirely new audiences into the ecosystem. People who have never touched crypto but trust ETFs as an investment vehicle. It could also spark demand for on-chain utility, just because as institutional exposure grows, so does attention on Hedera's actual network activity. Enterprises using Hedera for tokenization, payments, and data integrity could see new partnerships, and that ecosystem expansion could eventually feed back into real value growth. There's also a bigger narrative that is forming here. 2025 might become the year when enterprise-grade chains start catching up to the hype-driven ones. And Hedera, with its unique governance model and corporate partnerships, could be at the center of that shift. But, as always, nothing moves in a straight line. The crypto market is unpredictable, and ETF inflows don't guarantee price action overnight. Still, when you look at everything together, the institutional moves, the strategic partnerships, the community excitement, and even the speculations, it feels like the Hedera is stepping into a completely new chapter. The kind of chapter that could redefine how traditional finance views not just HBAR, but just the entire idea of enterprise blockchain. So whether you're already holding HBAR or just keeping an eye on it, this is one of those moments that are worth watching very closely, because what's happening right now might just be the start of something much bigger. As always, this video is not financial advice. Always do your research before making any investment decisions. And I'll see you guys in the next video shortly. So stay tuned.